You mentioned Sozo, which I
Yes.
just want to tell a quick story. I was going to interview someone about Sozo who'd been in
Mm,
it, and she sent me the manual of the Sozo manual, and it was sitting here in my office. And I just kept getting this conviction from the Holy Spirit that having that manual here was a problem. And so I finally
okay.
just I threw it away, and
Yeah.
there's a sense of relief that there's something very demonic about Sozo. Did you have the
Yes.
experience with it?
Yes. I was trained. Um,
Oh,
I I followed the Bethel Sozo training. Again, remotely. We had we watched the DVDs of the main people whose names I forget just now, but and we had a manual. I've still got. I found a few weeks ago. I actually found the manual still from
yeah.
the training.
That's what
Uh,
I just threw out. And
yeah.
it was just like when I threw out my tarot cards, how much better I
Okay.
felt afterwards.
Yeah. I've actually
Yes.
kept mine for research purposes.
Okay. Okay.
Because
Some people,
I burned most of my books, and
yeah.
I've since kind of regretted it because I sometimes need to for research about whatever.
But
Um,
Sozo's supposedly a
yeah,
healing
it's
method, but
yeah,
it sounds
it's
wackadoodle
it is it
like
is wackadoo, and it is spiritually and psychologically very dangerous.
do you think it's
Um,
demonic?
yes, um, I think it's certainly demonically inspired. It's
Mhm.
definitely not come from God. It's not from the
No.
Holy Spirit. It's not from the Bible. Um, it okay. So for those who don't know what Sozo is, basically it's supposed to be a like an inner healing prayer ministry, right? And the way it works is you come and you sit in a chair. You've got one person, excuse me, who's like leading the sozo, and then another person who keeps notes. Um, and I burnt my notes from my sozo, when I had sozo. But anyway, um, and the person leading the sozo will ask the whatever you call them, the sozoe
Mhm.
that's being sozoed,
Right.
a very strange question. They ask which member of the Trinity or of the Godhead do you most relate to or best relate to? And so you might you either say Jesus or the Father or the Holy Spirit, and then they guide, they run the whole thing as as if it's like a conversation between you and whichever of those three you best relate to,
Whoa.
right?
So they're supposedly channeling one of the members of the Holy Trinity.
Sort of. It's like uh, it's very strange. It's like you're you're guided to ask, say, the Holy
Mm.
Spirit, um, certain questions, or the Sozo leader will ask the Holy Spirit to bring a thought or a memory into your mind, and then you say what it is, and then you are supposed to then ask whoever, God, the Holy Spirit, Jesus, whatever, uh, um, about that memory. Where was he? What lies am I believing about this memory? Show me the truth. This kind of
Mm.
thing. And so it's very kind of mystical, subjective, but there's a lot of power of suggestion from the person running it as well. And what happened to me, and what I've heard from unnumbered other people since, is that you basically end up with false memories. Because, so what, okay, I'll give you an example which isn't me, but it's, no reason to believe it's not true because it's very similar to what happened to me. Um, there was a person in an abusive marriage, and they obviously wanted help in how to deal with, get out of, or whatever this abusive marriage. What was God's will in regard to this abusive marriage? And so they were prompted. They were to think of a memory, and then explore that memory. And the memory was of their, I believe it was their mother being angry when they were a child. And the long and the short of it was that this person was kind of like guided to believe that the anger from their mother, they were then unfairly projecting that onto their spouse. So in fact, their spouse wasn't abusive. That's just how they're interpreting their actions and things they said. But in real life, they were abusive. And so this person, sort of far from receiving help, to get out of this abusive marriage or whatever, deal with it, confront the abusive spouse, whatever. They were sort of convinced, and because again, this goes back to the culture of assuming that all this prophetic stuff is real. Mm-hmm. Okay, because you've got a prophet or a prophetic Sozo leader leading them through this thing, which is apparently all led by the Holy Spirit, and you're actually in a conversation with God the whole way. Wow. You come out the other end with this belief and this memory that their mother was actually abusive when she wasn't.
Right.
But they believed that their mother was abusive, and they also believed that their spouse wasn't abusive, when in fact their spouse was abusive, physically and verbally and sexually, and their mother wasn't at all. And so that there was this kind of, thankfully, this person after a while realized that it was all BS. But they, for a while, there was estrangement from the mother.
I was going to say they probably stopped
because
talking
they had
to their
these
mother.
memories.
Yeah,
they had
false memories.
False memories of their mother being abusive when they were a child.
Wow. I saw some things like that in psychology too, where people were having false memories of ritual abuse and such, and they would confront their parents, and the parents would be like, "What are you talking about?" And there'd be breakups of family, and I'm assuming Sozo leaders probably don't have any psychological training at all.
No, it's not. No, because it's you don't need psychological training if you're running a prophetic ministry that's led by the Holy Spirit.
Oh boy,
it's so twisted.
There's so much wrong about this. I've been hearing about Sozo for so long, and I've tried to interview 2 different people, and it hasn't worked out. So I really appreciate you talking about this. How rampant is this Sozo healing work?
It's everywhere now. I mean, just to say, that is not even an extreme example. I've heard dozens of examples now that are much worse than that. I've noticed it becoming is on offer at a lot of churches now.
Well, not just Bethel affiliates, but it's it like Enneagram is just going everywhere?
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's so there's no psychological training. It's it's assumed that the people at the top who devise all this stuff, all this teaching, all the training for it, know what they're talking about, but they really don't.
No, I want to say, I've got a bachelor's and a master's in psychology, and I used to sit with people in group therapy and individual therapy in hospitals and outpatient. For years, I did that. And when you're going into someone's mind, you have to be so careful. Right. And you're talking about people with no training, who assume that everything they think is from God, going into people's minds. This is all kinds of dangerous. You guys stay away from Sozo. This is just really potentially very damaging. And
it's You know, I mean, it's reckless
Reckless, yeah.
is a very soft word to use for it.
And so, and they're charging for this, I assume.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think So I had a Sozo. I think I paid £40 for it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Did you feel
and
like you were better or worse for it, or?
well, briefly, I thought everything was amazing again,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
because again, again, I came away thinking that now I'm going to make it in the music. That was one of the things that
Oh,
inevitably your
oh,
deepest kind of desires, your you know um, your selfish desires, actually, the things that you long for. Oh, I really want to, this and the other. Those are the things that really come out,
mm,
the thing is, if you think about it in real terms, it has nothing to do with the Holy Spirit, nothing to do with God at all. And at best, it is a buffoon fishing for your selfishness to come to the front, and then for them to kind of like somehow, um, you know, be the voice of God promising you those things.
it's
That's
it's
that's that's at its best.
it's a
Um,
conversation with your ego.
It is. That's a really good way of putting it.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
is totally a conversation with the ego.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
if I was literally having a conversation with Jesus, okay, would he tell me to go and preach the gospel? Tell me to deny myself, pick up my cross,
Mhm.
or would he tell me that I'm about to have a massive music career? Which of those three? Which of those three things would he really be saying to me?
Yeah.
If I was really having a conversation with God,
Mhm.
it's like, oh my goodness. And of course, that still never happened. On a
I'm
side.
so glad that you talked about this. Thank you so much.